Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
A continuación, Voces en Acción, el programa comunitario que informa a la comunidad latina. Voces en Acción, la verdad en acción. Voices in Action, the truth in action. Now, con ustedes, Jenny Ibarra.
Good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us one more time with Voces en Acción, bringing you the latest information here in Houston, Montgomery County area, Conroe, all over the world. And I am honored to have you to sit around for a couple of minutes and talk. I talk about the beautiful things that this world has. And today I am so grateful. We're going to have the most amazing show. I'm bringing a couple friends of mine that they have made an impact in our community, and we're going to talk to them and get their feedback. But first, I would like to thank First Financial Bank for the support and for sponsoring the show. First Financial Bank has been with us for the longest, and they have been a pillar of our community. If you need them, you're able to contact them to reach them for your financial needs. There's so much, amazing people working in that team that are able to get you. You can call them at 936-439-1800, 936-439-1800. Thank you, First Financial Bank, for sponsoring us. And buenos días, buenas tardes, donde quieran que ustedes estén. Jenny Rosales aquí nuevamente en Voces en Acción, dándole la información correcta de todo lo que está pasando en Montgomery, en Conroe, en todas las áreas, tratando de que ustedes se enteren de las cosas que impactan. Y hoy vamos a tener un show tan bonito. Vamos a hablar con una pareja que son amigos míos. Ellos vinieron a dar su testimonio para que ustedes aprendan cómo los líderes de esta comunidad trabajan para ayudar y cómo los líderes también tienen sus problemas y tienen sus momentos bajos, pero levantarse de esos problemas es lo que los hace grande. Quiero dar las gracias a First Financial Bank porque ellos están con nosotros en este programa, apoyándonos, manteniéndonos en el aire. Están con nosotros como pilares en Conroe y en Montgomery, y siempre proveen la información financiera que usted necesita. Contáctelos a 936-439-1800. Hoy vamos a hablar con el señor Andy Greever y la señora Elizabeth Greever. Ellos son los fundadores tienen su propia corporación, pero al mismo tiempo de una corporación específica con la cual yo estoy yendo. Se llama Líderes que Inspiran. Esa sería la traducción correctamente. Líderes que inspiran. Líderes que pueden dar su testimonio y que pueden inspirar a otras personas. Y eso es lo que ellos han formado durante este tiempo y están tratando de trabajar con la comunidad para poder impactarnos. Today we're going to talk to Mr. and Mrs. Greever, Elizabeth and Andy. They are with Inspire Leaders, and I brought them because to me, I believe that this organization is what we need. We need to spread it. We need to have tons of Elizabeth and tons of Andy around the world, and not because we are LMC class, but at the same time, because we believe that leaders have their ups and downs, but what makes them leaders is when they show the weakness in front of everybody, and at the same time show how to become their strength, the strength after the weakness part of them. So that's what they brought into my show today, and I'm going to talk to them first. Like usually, Hispanic people would like to ask them, "What you guys are married? How many kids do you have?" All the noisy things, and then after that, we'll talk about them. Thank you for being with us today, both of you. God bless you.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Andy, Elizabeth, you guys are an example of leaders that are willing to bring, and I'm going to say directly, that sense of commitment, of leadership, and at the same time, the sensitive part on it. When everybody's talking about numbers, everybody's talking about money, everybody's talking about profit, you guys are talking about sensitive, commitment, caring, loving, everything together, all those feelings that they come from up here, from our mighty God. And that's my personal view, of course. Yeah. And basically, how do you guys do that? But first of all, I want to know if, you guys tell me, how do you guys meet each other? What is the technique?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if the show is long enough for all of that story. I'll answer the most recent question. So how we met. So we're actually next month, July 12th is our anniversary. It'll be 10 years that we've been married. So there's a little bit of background. So I moved to Houston in the fall of 2008, and I'd lived here for a couple of months. And I'm originally from Iowa, and I went to the University of Iowa. And I was going back to homecoming that fall for a football game, and I was on a 6 a.m. flight on Friday morning, and the sun hadn't even come up, but I had sunglasses on because I was gonna go to sleep. I was gonna go see all my friends that I graduated with.
So you were playing football basically?
No, I didn't play football. I was just going to a football game.
You were going to a football game?
After I graduated, yeah. Uh-huh. So I graduated in 2008 and going back to a football game. And so Friday morning in October, I'm flying out of Houston Airport, flying through Chicago to go to Iowa City. Uh-huh. And I get on the plane and I crawl over. I'm on the inside seat, whatever. And I crawl over and in the middle seat, there's this pretty good-looking girl. And I'm like, maybe I'll talk to her. It's like the next thought was like, I'm never going to see this girl again. Most important thing for me is to get some sleep because I'm going to see my friends for the entire week or entire weekend. Lo and behold, that was Elizabeth.
Amen.
So
dice que conoció a la esposa básicamente de un vuelo. Saliendo desde aquí de Houston iba para Chicago, de Chicago iba para Iowa, tenía un juego de fútbol. Y dice que entró al avión y se metió en su hueco donde él se mete, en la esquina, cerca de la última silla. Y dice que vio una muchacha muy bonita, que era su esposa. Una muchacha muy bonita y que dice, ay, quiero hablarle, pero al mismo tiempo digo, si le hablo, ¿para qué? Si no la voy a volver a ver más. Así que se quedó tranquilo y se quedó pensando y resulta ser que esa era su esposa. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we end up striking up a conversation, just before we land, and we were walking through the Chicago airport. She had a layover. She was going back to North Carolina, where she lived at the time. Mm-hmm. And we ultimately just struck up a friendship. We were friends for 8 months, and then we started dating at a distance while she was still living in North Carolina. I was here in Texas. And to fast forward the story, she ultimately moved here to Texas in 2010. Of course, we were dating at the time, and then 2013, we got married. So we met on an airplane.
So cool.
And, that's part of I love telling the story because it's also part of our story that we try to live out.
Exactly.
That we are always interested in meeting new people and connecting with new people and helping people connect with new people because that's how we met. If we weren't open to meeting new people and open to being open-minded about where opportunities come from, we may not have ever met. We may not have ever had this life together. So we try to just live that out as much as
salieron possible. De lo que es el esquema de conocerse como amigos desde el 2008 y en el 2000 ella se muda para Texas y él en 2013 se casan. Y dice que lo que le gusta a él es que así como él conecta a las personas, se conectó él con ella, así él quiere que eso lo hagamos, que todos nos conectamos con alguna otra persona en nuestras vidas. Y eso es lo que tenemos que hacer para construir una mejor unión en este mundo. Andy, and I'm gonna go back. You have any kids? Do you guys have kids?
No children, not yet.
No, thanks the Lord. They're terrible. I have 3 of them, and I can tell them. No, it's fun. They're fun. You're going to be excited, Elizabeth. You're going to love that part of it. Maternity is something that, believe me, the maternity part of it is amazing. But after that, then you're going to call me and say, Jenny, you didn't tell me that part of it. Le pregunto que si tienen hijos o no tienen hijos. Le digo que es bien terrible tener hijos que no los tengan. Pero bueno, yo tengo 3 que son tremendos, así que ellos saben cómo soy yo. And I want to know how Ever San Cooper was formed, and then after that you branded into Inspire Leaders. How do you guys? Because I know that's the stronghold, you guys. that corporation,
Yeah.
right? What is it that Everson
Everson
Cooper
yeah.
does?
Yeah. Let you tell the story.
Yeah.
So we both were teachers, and Andy left education in 13. I ended up leaving in 16 when we started Everson Cooper. So I wanted something different. I wanted to get into real estate investing. When we bought our first home, well, not our first home, the home we live in, I wanted an old ugly house because I wanted to fix it up and I wanted to make it our own. And this is while I was still teaching. Like, it was just kind of something inside of me. I could see those things and I wanted to do that. And Andy and our realtor thought I was crazy, but that's what we got. We got an old dated
so you
house.
got an old dated house and you just reformed the whole
And
house.
so a couple years later, we started renovating. And I had a designer come in that was a friend of ours to help me figure out, like, how do I get all of my, Pinterest inspiration photos out of the wall, right? Like, I didn't know how to make what I saw in the photo happen in my house. And I told her that we wanted to have rental properties. And so she said, you need to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I was like, okay. So I read that book.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes,
Ok,
ma'am.
ellos comenzaron la compañía, y por cierto me acaban de regalar esta tacita, se llama Everson Cooper. Ellos tienen una compañía de inversionistas de casa, o sea, ellos compran las propiedades y las renuevan. Eso comenzó con ella, la idea de ella dice que cuando ella quería comprar una casa vieja, porque su sueño era comprar una casa vieja, y el esposo decía, estás loca, y hasta el realtor también le preguntó, ¿para qué quieres la casa vieja? Dice, yo quiero renovarla, y compró la casa. Ella tuvo que aprender de cero. Lo que usted ve en Home Designs o en Pinterest o todo lo que usted ve para renovar, ella quería aprender cómo podía hacer eso y plasmarlo en su casa y hacerlo, cómo renovar, cómo decorar interiores. Eso es lo que le gustaba a ella. Y básicamente le dijeron que tenía la realtor le dijo, tú quieres hacer eso, tú quieres renovar, dice, yo quiero renovar casas, quiero ayudar. Dice, tienes que leer el libro que se llama Padre Pobre, Poor Dad, Rich Dad.
Rich Dad,
Rich
Poor
Dad.
Dad.
Ah, ok. Padre Rico, Padre Pobre, se llama el libro. And then, go ahead, you read the book.
So I read the book, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to figure this out. And so I handed the book to Andy and started Googling things. And when school got out that year, I was like, okay, let's form an LLC. And, I'm going to start figuring out if I can actually make this a business. So the intention was to spend that summer months, seeing if I could get this off the ground. And then I guess if not, I'd go back to school. And if I was successful, I would keep going. And so we formed Everson Cooper. So Ever is the last part of Greever, which is our married name. San is the first part of Santangelo, which is my maiden name. And then Cooper was our 15-year-old chocolate lab. He passed away in 2020, but he gets full namesake in the company. So anyway, so Ever San Cooper is how we came up with our
Nombraron
name.
la compañía, los primeros nombres, la primera letra que es Ever, ese es del apellido de ellos, de casados. Entonces, el San es el apellido soltera de ella. Y Cooper es el nombre del perrito. El perrito ya murió, pero ellos pusieron eso el nombre de la compañía. Y eso es lo que ella quería hacer. So basically, you bought houses, and that's what you do. You buy houses, you demolish them, or whatever it is, and rebuild it. You're doing the same thing that, what's his name, I keep seeing all those channels of housing, whatever her name. They're in Dallas. I forgot her name.
Oh, okay.
The couple that they just buy properties and they just redo properties again. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
It is. It's a lot of work, but Elizabeth is perfect because she has the vision. She'll go into a house where other people can't see the vision, and she'll say, "Oh my gosh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this," and it's just she brings it to life. I'm the opposite. I walk into a house and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a lot of work," and she's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be great." So it's a perfect.
So you like the demolishing part. She likes the construction part of it. Right?
I like it when it's done.
Then
Yeah.
you're like, I'm done with it. I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that's what she does all day, every day. This is her complete full-time job.
Wow.
And of course, I have a full-time job in oil and gas as well. But then, as much time as I can spend helping to grow the company and help it continue to flourish and give Elizabeth support, that's how we make it work. We've done that, ever since.
And I
for
love
going
it when
7
you said
years.
in the speech when you said, she just came back and told me that she quit her job. And I was like, you have prevailing thinking. You're thinking, when am I going to get the money from for this and this and this? How God works. See, that's what you came back onto your senses and said, hey,
Yep.
We're here. We need to get out of here.
Yep.
Was that something that you were not expecting at all, or that's something that you talked both before it? Or, because I knew that you were thinking that she was going to tell you, but she never told you.
Yeah. Of course, I told a little bit about the story, at my talk in May at Inspire Leaders. And really, we were just that summer, we were just focused on every single day, doing as much as we could, filling every single day up. And my belief was if we did that, it was going to work out just fine. Well, we got to basically the end of the summer where she was going to have to make a decision, either go back to teaching or not. And we hadn't made any deals yet. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of was getting to that point of like, all right, well, it's about to get real. Are you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
And I just tried to keep putting it out of my mind, just focusing every single day, doing everything that I could in my job, but then also doing everything that I could to help Elizabeth grow the business. And it came down to her having complete faith and belief in herself and in the vision, and ultimately kind of pushing me to be able to have that. And I just I listened to a podcast the other day. I think it was Ed Milet mentioned this. It was like, there's a difference between having a dream and then willing to pay the price to make that dream come true. And that's kind of really where she was already willing to pay that price.
Pay that price.
I hadn't maybe quite gotten there. I just needed to take one more step.
Yeah, women were a little bit more aggressive on that. We would just take the decision and do it right away. Am I right, Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so she was willing to take the step, and she was willing to pull me along. So
Ellos comenzaron de la noche a la mañana. Créame, ella es profesora full time, él también, ellos trabajaban. Y ella no quería dar más clases, ella quería salirse ya de eso. Y tenía hasta el verano para poder hacer su decisión de lo que ella iba a tomar. Y supuestamente él dice, bueno, ella va a tomar la decisión de dejar esto cuando tengamos alguna propuesta o algo antes de comenzar a realmente trabajar en lo que se llama la compañía y sacar el profito de cada casa que vendamos o que reconstruyamos. Pero no, de la noche a la mañana ella dijo, me salí del trabajo, y él se quedó asustado. Él no sabía, y eso es una de las pláticas que ahorita vamos a ver cuando hablo acerca de la plática que estamos hablando él y yo. Ellos tienen los videos en línea para que usted escuche claramente el testimonio de Andy, porque le estoy preguntando las cosas que le estoy preguntando, porque él tiene un mensaje para todos nosotros. Ahora vamos a hablar de Inspire Leaders. Now we're going to talk about Inspire Leaders. I know this is a lot of money that I love you, and I know I'm going to get somebody that's going to help me with my house when I get it. But I want to know how you guys now change. Whoop, you flip houses, now you're flipping to Inspire Leaders. Yep. What made you thought about that?
Yeah, I think Elizabeth's got a wonderful story. So when we started Everson Cooper, we didn't know anything about real estate. We barely knew anything about owning a business. And so we just went around and started asking people that were doing that, and people that were entrepreneurs, people that were business owners, and we're like, what do you do? How do you make this work? So that kind of, segues a little bit into, the birth or the idea of Inspire Leaders. So I'll let you finish the story.
Yeah, so Inspired Leaders is not a replacement of Everson Cooper. It's just something we started while building our business. Mm-hmm. Because, like Andy said, I spent a lot of time networking. I mean, I still spend a lot of time networking, but I did, especially at first. And I sat down with anybody who would sit down with me and asked a lot of questions because I really wanted to quit teaching and do this business full time, but I was terrified. And so I wanted, some encouragement. I wanted to know, what other people's stories were. Many of the people in this community are on their second or third career or business or whatever it is. They left that safe job too to do what they're doing. And so I didn't know that going into it. You just kind of assume that everybody else in the room has it all figured out. But it turns out they don't, right? We're all still trying to figure it out. We're all trying to support.
Believe me, I'm one of them.
Yes.
I started out of the blue, and you can ask my producer. I came with an idea, and he's like, sure. I'm like, really? And I thought it was going to be a joke. And look. So believe me, it does. It impacts you that way.
Yeah.
But then the idea of getting people together to get the talks, to get networking, I've been networking a lot, but I've never seen the group of networking than the way that you want it. And I promise you, this time you're gonna go to 2,000 people. That I'm gonna get you 2,000 people, and that whatever I do, I will get you. I will get you that room to the point that you will have to talk to what's his name, the owner of the Lakewood, so he can open the door.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Let's go.
Talk to Mr. Olstein so he can
That's
give
right.
us the church to fill it out, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
This is worth it. People that are able to give you, like Josh Mack, the whole 4 years of cancer and all the stuff that he battled with, and how he has made it to the point that God has provided for him.
Yeah.
What is the brain on that? And if it's only you two, or there's a bunch of people working on this?
So when we first started, it was very small. We were in a small conference room. We don't know if there were 7 of us or 12 of us, but it was a very small group of people. And, the intention at first was just like, okay, I wanted to get out in the community and just provide another source of networking for people. I just wanted to do something else. And when people write books, they always say they wrote a book for themselves. I feel like I inspired leaders for myself, because it really, when we very, very first started, it was very tactical. It was very business focused. Okay, this aspect of business, that aspect of business, all these different things. And then we had a speaker come and he shared his story, and it was unbelievable. That's how he shared his business knowledge, was through his story. And we were like, whoa. And it very quickly evolved to that, of people just coming in and sharing their stories. And I've told people for years, Inspired Leaders took on a life of its own, and we're just doing the best we can to support it. And so, we just got once we realized that was something that was starting to happen, that's then what we asked for. We wanted people to come in and share their stories. We realized how powerful that was for everybody in the room. And so that's what it became. And that's why I say, we didn't set out for that necessarily. We just wanted to create a space for people to grow themselves. And we started out tactical, and now we're just very, I don't know.
And let me tell you something, and I'm gonna put it this way: the speakers, when they get up there, they're healing themselves. You don't even know how much, because some people have lived so much awful things in their lives, and they are so quiet about that, but they made it to success. For example, Mr. Palafox. If you go into my interviews, I have Mr. Jose Palafox in my show. Palafox is he's owner of Palafox, Star Fox, Star Fox, and I forgot the last part of it, Alliance, I think it is. And what he does is financial. He helps huge rich people to get their budgets and stuff like that. But he started sleeping in a car. He was illegal. He went through a lot of hell and back.
Yep.
And I love that gentleman to that, because that gentleman, every 4th of July, has a free meal for everybody in the community that wants to go in.
That's great.
And he reads the amendments of the Constitution. He reads the letter of the Constitution, and that's something that I learned that he shares, because he values this country. So those testimonies right there then are not only for the person that is in front listening to me, but us as humans remembering all this stuff and healing, because you get the healing while you're telling people what's going on. You heal.
Yeah.
It's like being naked in front of people. Literally, it's your personal story, being naked.
Yeah.
Ellos, Inspire Leaders tiene el propósito, y comenzó. Elisa dice que comenzaron como 7 en un cuarto. Comenzaron a hablar de organizaciones y de cosas, de cómo desarrollarse en todo lo que es financiamiento, discusión de trabajo, todo lo que es management, todo lo que una compañía puede hacer tipos de reuniones para hacer networking, cómo se hace networking, pero realmente todo comenzó con uno de las personas que ellos trajeron para hablar. La persona vino, habló, y cuando habló sobre el dolor que él pasó antes de llegar a donde él estaba. Entonces, Inspire Leaders se comenzó a abrir de esa manera. al ejemplo de que ahora ellos tienen más de 1,000 personas escuchándolo y quieren llegar a la meta de 2,000 personas este año. Y quiero que sepan que en la iglesia ya no les da. Y yo se los he dicho a ellos que yo voy a traerle gente porque yo creo firmemente que Inspire Leaders, Andy y Elizabeth, están haciendo un impacto en la comunidad. Porque al poder ellos sacar a los líderes y que los líderes den su testimonio de vida, den lo que les duelan y hablarlo delante de miles de personas, es decir, yo pasé por esto, yo me levanté de esto y yo lo pude hacer, tú también lo puedes hacer. Al dar ese ejemplo, muchas personas tienen el valor de armarse y trabajar y hacer servicio. Part of our work as a leaders is not only saying, oh, you're going to be doing this or I'm going to be doing or giving the lead. No, it's service. Mm-hmm. I believe that if you're not born to serve, you might as well not leave because that's my priority. I'm here to serve, okay, to my community, to the whole community of Montgomery. If I cannot serve and if I'm being burdened, I might as well I don't want to leave because the person that made me who I am, he came to this world and he served 33 years and he died for me. Who I am not to do it. That's my personal belief. I'm believing that while you're doing this, have people come back to you guys and said, the way that you're doing this is helping us create more faith-based or let's see, more strong-based corporations? Is that happening right now? Have you seen it?
You know, I think like Elizabeth said, that Inspire Leaders has taken on a life of its own. And so it's not just one path. I think someone asked us, a little while back, what causes does Inspire Leaders care about? And I said, every person that walks in the door is the cause. It's whatever is most important to them. If it's connecting with someone and growing their business, if they're running a nonprofit and they're wanting to help, children who are in the foster care system, whatever it is that they want to do. So if there's 100 people that are walking in the door, we care about 100 different causes, and we're helping those people and those causes, connect and intersect. And so it's not a faith-based thing. Because I think we have a really diverse set of people that come through there, which is amazing, which makes us so incredibly happy, and that lives out that really that's the truth of that organization taking on a life of its own. It's open to everyone. It's free.
That's the thing. How do you manage to be free that is open? Because that's the thing. We don't find networking that are free. Most of the networking, you charge $20 to get in, right, or whatever it is, and luncheons. And believe me, in the last 3 years, I've been networking that I know everybody in this town right now. It's like...
It's all of our sponsors.
Yeah. When we started, I think it was us and a couple other folks that said, "Hey, we'd love to put lunch together and get people in the same room and just learn from each other." And it just was it was like a boulder that was going downhill and just kept collecting more and more momentum and collecting more and more people that wanted to get along with it. And so we get more and more sponsors because they see the impact. They see the impact of the organization itself, but then also it's a platform for the sponsors. The sponsors get to stand up on stage in front of 100 people or however many people and get to spend 30 seconds to talk about their business. That's valuable in itself, not even the connections that they make during networking and things like that. So it's just again, I don't want to repeat myself, but it has just taken on a life of its own. And it's Elizabeth and I are less about the MCs or co-founders or whatever you want to call us. We're more just stewards. We're trying to be the best stewards possible of the organization.
She greeted me in the door the first time I came in, and I was introduced to you guys by Josh Mack, who's my mentor. He's like, "You need to go there," which I loved it. But it was thanks the Lord I was able to do it. And I'm the only thing is that on Fridays when you guys are on, I'm here, so it's like I have to make sure that sometimes on Fridays I take off, so I'm able to go ahead and do this. But at the same time. And then the other question I was going to ask you, we're going to come back. I'm going to take a break. We're going to come back and just leave the answer. How are you guys are funded? How many you're making profit? You guys, do give back to the community to serve our corporations? How do you guys do that? You can back with that. When I come back, I'll ask you. Vamos a tomar un break ahorita mismo, unos minutos. Vamos a seguir con la señora Elizabeth y con el señor Andy Greever, referente a Inspire Leaders, y vamos a hablar sobre la plataforma de ellos. manténgase en sintonía. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Jenny from Voces en Accion. First Financial Bank can help those who wish to purchase their own home but do not have a Social Security. Their IT and home loan can be a perfect option for those in that situation. They're able to be reached and they can help you at 936-439-1800. That number is 936-439-1800. The American Dream, it is at the reach with First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank, it is an equal housing lender, member of FIDC. Hola, soy yo, Jenny, de Voces en Acción, y vamos a hablar sobre nuestro patrocinador, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank le puede ayudar a quienes desean comprar su propia casa, pero no tienen un número de seguro social. El préstamo hipotecario de ITN puede ser una opción perfecta para quienes están en esta situación. Estamos aquí para ayudarles y los puede contactar al 936-439-1800. El número es 936-439-1800. El sueño americano está al alcance con First Financial Bank. Prestamista de vivienda equitativa, miembro FIDC. Thank you for staying with us. I'm back with Elizabeth and Andy Greever from Inspire Leaders. And we're going to talk to them about how do they get the funding? How do they work with the funding? What is it that they do? I know that they donate so much to the community and they refer so many people that are in need to other places because people can literally go in and talk to them and they're so open to everybody at this point. Thank you for that because not everybody does that. Estamos de vuelta con Elizabeth y con Andy y vamos a hablar ahorita sobre Inspire Leaders, cómo ellos, como líderes que inspiran, abren sus puertas completamente para que la gente vaya una vez al mes, coman con ellos y hagan lo que se llama networking. Se reúnan, compartan sus tarjetas de trabajo, busquen trabajo si hay alguien que está contratando, se contacten. ¿Cómo pueden, qué es lo que es la llave de que haya tanto suceso en eso? Okay, sir. And I'm going to go ahead back and in a couple of minutes. I want to show them the slide with your.
Yeah, so it's 100% funded by our sponsors.
Okay.
And it's right now technically legally it's a DBA underneath our company.
It's a DBA under you.
We are actually now finally that we've grown to a certain point. We are right in the middle of moving it over to a nonprofit organization as we
501c3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I mean, ultimately, if people wanted to see the bank account that's determined, or that's
No.
I'm, as a joke, ultimately it's a not-for-profit. The money that comes in for our sponsors goes out for the food and
for the food for the event.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not like we're lining our pockets with Inspire.
No. I understand that part, and eventually the donors, you list your donors in the website and everything. People that are donating constantly for you guys to have, for us to go in and eat, and not only that, for us to listen that speaker, that 30-minute of a person that is giving us a talk, whether it is on their private information or their corporation or their personal life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you select them? And then after you select it, do they continue working with you guys? Do they help you guys more often, or
Are you talking about our sponsors?
the sponsor, but not only the sponsors, but the speakers.
Yeah. So, a lot of our sponsors, we asked them for, the first few that we had, we would just ask people that we knew and had relationships with, hey, this is what we're doing. Would you be interested in sponsoring? Come check it out. And that's how it started. And what's been cool is that now that we do this, people come to us and say, hey, I'd like to sponsor. I want to get involved. What can I do? And so that's been really, it's very, I don't know, it just feels good when people are like, hey, I want to come be a part of what you're doing, right? And so that's been really, really neat. Our speakers, some of them are involved. We do have a leadership team now, which has been really great. So some of the leadership team is are people who are also sponsors, and some are not. But we've, they'll help us day of. They'll help us, with some of the behind the scenes types of things.
Like
Thursdays,
Thursdays.
which is really nice.
I imagine you go Thursdays in and start getting everything ready for Fridays.
Well, we
right?
usually show up Friday mornings.
Oh,
but yeah,
Friday mornings.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
Okay.
we try to be as low maintenance as possible.
Yeah.
It's 100% a volunteer organization.
And then I understand that the same building, the same church, life I think it's
Vibrant.
Vibrant
they
Church, yeah.
donated the premises for you guys to do
Yeah,
your
they've been
event.
great. They've been great. It's been an awesome space. We've been at a couple different spaces and we've outgrown those spaces. So we had we had a problem that we had to solve, but it was a good problem. And we got connected with Michael and his wife Carmen, who are the pastors at Vibrant. And I mean, they were like our people. Like when we
That's
told them
good.
about Inspire Leaders, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like, I love this! Like, oh, what can we do to how can we get you guys here?" And so we've been there for the balance of 2023, and it's been phenomenal. And so there's room for us to grow. We can see us growing that church, and they can see us growing. So when you get that like perfect synergy of like a partnership like that, you really want to do everything possible to continue that, to make it as great as possible. So they've been wonderful. They've been super welcoming. It's been awesome.
Andy y Elizabeth, ellos, como les dije, tienen lo que se llaman las reuniones mensuales ahora de Inspire Leaders. Inspire Leaders, usted va y básicamente usted entra, se registra con ellos, es una vez al mes, el próximo es el 14 de julio, ellos tienen una persona que va a hablar y usted puede entrar ahí a eso de las 11 de la mañana, 11:30, y se queda, almuerza con ellos, hace networking, o sea, pasa sus tarjetas de trabajo, su información, conoce nuevas personas, etcétera, etcétera, y se sienta con ellos a escuchar a la persona que va a hablar sobre el tema que le toque a la persona. El speaker es elegido por ellos. Los speakers usualmente son personas que se voluntarian y los fondos que ellos reciben para esto, los reciben de bastantes donadores, personas que han creído en el trabajo que ellos están haciendo durante hace tiempo. Ahora, vamos a hablar con ellos sobre lo que es el webpage. Ellos tienen su propio webpage acá atrás, and I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about the webpage. Inspire Leaders, y todas esas personas que están ahí son líderes de la comunidad de Montgomery que han participado en el programa, que están trabajando y están dando su tiempo en la comunidad. Can you put about? Click on about. Okay. Ya pueden ver que está Elizabeth. Go down the screen, sir. Ella, la misión es de, como dice, ayudar a las personas en la carrera de promover su propio empresariales y conseguir líderes locales que tengan historias de suceso, de perseverancia. Eso es lo que ellos quieren. Entonces, ellos ven esto que va a impactar positivamente a millones de personas. Esa es la traducción exacta de lo que es. El segundo viernes del mes de 11:30 a 1 en la iglesia 3119, Vibrant Church 2319 de la Timberlock aquí en Woodlands. Ahora, la iglesia dona su espacio para que ellos puedan reunirse. Ha crecido tanto que han tenido que abrir una iglesia para hacer esto. Y gracias a Dios, dice que les ha fascinado que desde el 2023 que comenzaron haciendo esto, lo han hecho. Al principio lo han hecho y les ha crecido más. Y que básicamente es lo que la meta que Elizabeth se puso, ella quiere 2,000 personas. Y nosotros en la comunidad hispana somos muchos, demasiados. Y somos personas que somos de mucho impulso. Tenemos nuestros propios negocios, nuestros restaurantes, nuestras pastelerías, nuestros lugares de apoyo donde vendemos nuestras cosas o proveemos un servicio. ¿Por qué no viene usted y se une a Inspire Leaders para que usted aprenda cómo la comunidad americana trabaja en los Estados Unidos? I'm letting them know that we're a bunch of us. There's a bunch of us, and the Hispanic community is not going anywhere. And there's a lot of us that we own or own 501c3s or corporations, and we need to come and learn how the American community works in networking and how they can learn from a leader that is working, that is there, that is even giving their own example of success, after going through the worst and coming back. Because this is a road that has a lot of bumps. The same way you had a lot of bumps, you can imagine the amount of bumps that I've had in my life. And we can, and it's not going to stop. We continuously have bumps. The thing, like I said since the beginning, is not only how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up. And that's what we want to see. And that's what I want to give the Hispanic community the opportunity so they can meet you guys and they can come. And there's a lot of us that speak completely English and Spanish, and we're able to go and meet and sit down and listen. And that's what I want to educate. That's what I brought you guys to the show, so we can go ahead. Then go back to the top, sir. Si usted quiere ser un sponsor, click on sponsor, sir. Hay personas que donan sus nivel de donaciones a ellos, ¿ok? Al nivel de $300 es sponsorship level, que ellos son las personas que que hacen parte del video, de la parte del video, y está todo lo que con los $300 que usted da al mes le hace. Personas que dan 200, 400, keep going down, sir. Y los 250 mensuales, que son las personas de las fotos. Ellos tienen sus diferentes paquetes, pero también reciben voluntariado. Si usted no tiene dinero, ellos también reciben voluntariado. I know that you guys have a lot of volunteers working with you as well. If you don't have money to give, you can give your talent. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So,
Exactly right.
and that's exactly. Are you seeing this with the Hispanic community further down the road? Are you seeing a Hispanic woman or Hispanic man standing up and talking to a bunch of Hispanics doing everything in Spanish, but with you by their sides? Are you seeing this? Because this will be amazing.
I think that there's so many neat opportunities for how inspired leaders can grow. And that's what's been so cool about what we've done, is that people like you see things that, we might not even have the capacity to see, or we might not have gotten there yet. And then they see something like what you just said. And now it's like, okay, well, how can we make something like that happen? How can we do this? How can we reach more people? How can we, just grow our impact? And so we don't have like this, this is the road that we're taking and this is what we have to do and this is the only way we're doing it.
It comes naturally.
We're so open to ideas, and we want to keep it, we want to keep the Inspired Leaders framework and the heart and what we're doing at the center of anything that we do to grow. And so we're always going to be checking back with that to see if new opportunities are going to be a fit or not. But we are absolutely loving the outpour of ideas that are coming from people.
Because I'm looking at you guys and I'm like, hello, I can do this in Spanish. I will fool your gym. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And people can come in and we can get Spanish speakers. But of course, everything with the model of inspired leaders.
Yep.
So the same way you're doing it in English, we can do it in Spanish, and automatically you got your 2,000 people that you're needing. And automatically you'll be able to inspire more people.
Yep.
Because basically that's the motto that you want. You want to make sure that people all over the world is connected, and that's your main brain. And that's what I told them. Perseverance and the stories of success that will empower you, empowering women, empowering men that are needing to come, no matter what is their background, but at the same time, uniting themselves, regardless of what it is, on a common sense, which is learning. That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Spanish, Inspire Leaders Español.
There we go. All right.
Hey, I'm selling you that one.
Let's do it. Well, actually, that's a great segue for our next event, July 14th. Zach Galindo, Hispanic business owner, has a wonderful story. I don't want to spoil it too much because I want all of your listeners to come and see there. But he has a great story about how he grew up. He was an undocumented child. Grew up and basically, created his own version of the American dream.
Exactly.
And he's so much about creating a community. He had, if anyone's familiar with Galindo's coffee shop and the
Galindo,
barbershop,
yeah. My husband gets his hair cut in Galindo. Yeah.
And he's about creating a community.
Exactly.
Right? And enriching the community.
How he came from one place like that to a big, huge place, and he's giving coffee for free and beers for free.
Exactly.
The guy is cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's going to be our speaker in July. So I think that's a perfect segue for how we can find new ways to mesh together. And I mean, really, and it's so much about what the local community is about, right?
Exactly.
It's not just about the Hispanic or Latino community.
No, it's the
not just
community
about the,
itself that is
whatever.
working
It's
together,
all of us being
united,
together. And
uniting.
that's the awesome threads of this community that are all woven together.
Es lo que lo dice. Le digo yo que le quiero robar la idea porque quisiéramos hacer algo así que diga Inspire Leaders en español. Pero al mismo tiempo, como dice Zach, es verdad, como dice Andy, es verdad. Él en su mundo lo ve de esta manera. No es los hispanos o no es los americanos, sino es toda la comunidad unida, básicamente trabajando en un solo equipo, que es unificarse, unirse mediante la información, mediante contactos, mediante la ayuda. Si tú tienes y necesitas a alguien, tú puedes dar. O si alguien necesita, tú das. O sea, es una cadena de ayuda mutua. And I'm telling them, it's a chain of help. If you need, somebody will help you. If you receive, if you need to give, a lot of people are willing to give. You know, there's people that are in good conditions right now. There's people who are not in good conditions. And I know because my community is being very well impacted on that. And this is a time that we're looking up and saying, okay, we came, there's no way we can change what's going on right now, but we can adapt to the situation because this is not our country. We came to learn how to live and get our American dream, like Mr. Galindo did. You know, el 14 de julio, San Galindo, él es el dueño de Galindo's Barbershop en la 1488. Él comenzó con un barbershop pequeño y lo sé yo porque mis hijos se cortan el cabello allí. Y él comenzó con una cosa pequeña y ahora tiene un barbershop increíble, ayuda a mucha gente. Usted va y se corta el cabello, le dan una cerveza. O sea, él ha hecho mucho y está haciendo mucho por su comunidad, pero él comenzó de cero. O sea, él va a hablar de cómo él vino de México y cómo vino ilegal y todo lo que le pasó antes de llegar a estar aquí el día 14 de julio. Y usted puede ir directamente. Es gratuita la entrada, la comida es gratis. Usted vaya, siéntese y escuche la historia. Y únase a Inspire Leaders. Únase, voluntaríese. I keep telling all my friends and everybody within our community, you're sitting at home, watching TV, doing nothing. It's time for you to get up. It's time for you to. There's a lot of work to be done in this community. There's people's like there's agencies like CAC, or United. What's the name? United.
Way?
United Way and United U.S. Right here, the new corporation that they have over there that they're helping homeless. There's a lot of people that are needing help right now, and we're sitting at home doing nothing. We're just receiving the food, and we're sending the kids to school. And there's a lot of Hispanic women that are not doing nothing, and they can take their time and go and do things. Instead of thinking. The more we think and watch that box right there that is not going to get us anywhere, the worse we are mentally. And that's something that I'm trying to wake up my community. Any suggestions that you guys may have for us? Because I always ask my guests, is there something that we can learn from you guys? The Hispanic community needs a lot of feedback. And that's something that I'm trying to create in this show and all the shows.
I would say it's all about connections, right? And it's all about everyone feeling that we're all part of the same community. I think Montgomery County is one of the greatest places to live. Elizabeth has this wonderful saying that it's the greatest place to live and have a family and build a business. And it's not just about it's not a segmented community. It's all kind of what I said earlier. It's all of us like woven together. And so, like you're saying, get out there and make connections and see how you can contribute. Everyone has an opportunity to contribute in a unique way. Every person is a wonderful, beautiful, distinct, beautiful person that has their own way of contributing. And actually, I wanted to bring this up. I love the name of your show, Voices in Action, because there's the saying, make your voice be heard.
Exactly.
But you take it to another step. Make your voice be heard, but put your voice in action.
In action.
I think that's a great way.
But let me tell you,
to
if you see
about
my
that.
slogan, it's the truth in action. Who's the truth? Jesus. He came to this world and he did action. So who am I not to do it?
Right.
I need to work with that action. That's why I got my slogan, and that's why everything is black and white, because I always believe I have to say the truth. I cannot be lying and giving the wrong information. If I'm not able to give you the right information, I will say, no, I don't have that information. But we have a lot of And I have to say, a lot of my coworkers, journalists, and people in the media, that they just tend to lie. And we need to stop that. Because we need to start being truthful. If somebody's listening to me right now, and in Spanish or in English, and have no idea of how to write or read English or Spanish, that person is depending on listening. Why are we doing them damage? Okay, so we need to get the information correct, and that's why I came to the Voces en Acción, or Voices in Action. And that's something that I will keep, and it was given to me after so many years, so many times of prayers, after so much struggle, but God gave it to me. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. The more I can help, Elizabeth, to your organization, the more I can help the community to succeed, the better am I. Because I feel, when you give, you feel that rush that you want to continue giving. It's like it's in you.
It's infectious. It's
exactly, and people don't understand that. There's people that are not understanding that. So that's what I communicate to my community. Le digo que qué nos quiere dar. Dice que la comunidad, qué información, qué regalo nos quiere dar Andy y Elizabeth ahora para que nosotros aprendamos, para que nosotros nos entreguemos más. El contactarnos, el comunicarnos, el servir. Eso es lo que ellos quieren darnos. Venga el 14 de julio. La dirección está ahí. Usted se puede comunicar con ellos en el www.inspireleaders.com. Okay, está en el sistema abajo. Sir, can you pull the original right there at the top? It's, I guess, in the top right corner. It says inspireleaders.org. I'm so sorry. Es inspireleader.org. No es com. Inspireleaders.org. Ellos están allí. Usted puede ver los eventos. Usted puede comunicarse con ellos. Do you have anybody that speaks Spanish?
We do.
Yes. Tienen personas que hablan español en el grupo de ellos. Tienen el grupo de líderes. Usted puede hablar con ellos y puede averiguar cómo involucrarse más con ellos para ayudar a la comunidad a tener esa sensación de unidad, esa sensación de camaradería, esa sensación de perseverancia ante todos los problemas de la vida, sea trabajo, sea personal, etcétera, etcétera. Andy and Elizabeth, it's a pleasure having you guys. Anytime, my doors are open to both of you. And, anything that I can do, I will try to be as much as possible in your shows because I learn from you guys a lot. And thank you for the opportunity and the honor having you both in my show.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We had a great time.
And again, she's for the American side of it, she's raising her goal to 2,000 people. You guys cannot be sitting at home not doing anything. You guys need to join them in this venue so you guys can understand the powerful way of God uniting his people under the same roof. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you again to our sponsor, First Financial Bank, for being with us. And please reach them again, 936-439-1800. Thank you for everything, First Financial Bank. Gracias a First Financial Bank por estar patrocinándonos el show del día de hoy. Y que pasen muy buenas tardes. Nos vemos en nuestra próxima sesión. Bye bye. Hi, this is Jenny with Voces en Acción. Let me talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank can help your dream of becoming a homeowner true. The new affordable mortgage program at First Financial Bank can be a great option for those seeking to achieve this dream for themselves and their families. They are here to help you. For more information, call First Financial Bank at 936-439-1800 and discover how First Financial Bank can help you today. That is 936-439-1800. The American dream is at reach at First Financial Bank. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Hola, les habla Jenny de Voces en Acción y voy a hablar sobre un patrocinador de nosotros, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank puede ayudar a cualquiera a hacer realidad un sueño de convertirse en propietarios de una casa. El nuevo programa de hipotecas asequibles de First Financial Bank puede ser una gran opción para quienes buscan alcanzar este sueño para ellos y sus familias. Ellos están aquí para ayudarle. Para obtener más información, llame al 936-439-1800 y descubra cómo First Financial Bank puede ayudarle hoy mismo. El número es 936-439-1800. El sueño americano está al alcance en First Financial Bank, prestamista de vivienda equitativa, miembro FIDC.
Esto fue Voces en Acción, el programa comunitario que informa a nuestra comunidad latina. Voces en Acción, la verdad en acción. Voices in Action, the truth in action. Hasta nuestra próxima edición.